What's up, everyone? Welcome to my corner of the internet. I'm your host, Ryan Kramer, and this is Crossover Commerce, presented by PingPong Payments, the leading global payments provider helping sellers keep more of their hard-earned money. What's up, everyone? Ryan Kramer from PingPong Payments here. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Crossover Commerce, episode 47. We're just cruising our way through 2021 with all the insights and efforts that people are going through in e-commerce. Today, we wanted to make it a little more laid back. I have a colleague and friend over at Helium. We just kind of wanted to talk about e-commerce trends and a little bit about what we're seeing going on in 2021. It's Friday. We don't want to be any super serious. I think there's a lot of things that people are starting to come out with in terms of data. So this is our invitation to you, the audience. If you're watching this live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or LinkedIn, go ahead and ask your questions below. This is live, so we want to be as interactive as possible. And if you're listening to this later as a download, go ahead and ask your questions as well and tag us so that we can answer those in real time. More than happy to do that. You can download as on either Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and I think also Spotify. So just search Crossover Commerce and you can find some of our latest episodes there. There's about 10 released right now, and there will be more coming out as we see fit. So today, obviously, I kind of alluded to, it's our special guest from Helium. His name is Barcus Patty. Barcus has actually been an Amazon seller since 2015. He helped businesses launch thousands of products on Amazon, which is awesome. We'll touch a little bit about that. Building tools and systems for SaaS businesses since also 2015, and brand evangelist currently with Helium 10. He's a husband, dad, DIY guy, tech nerd, and e-commerce geek. I think that just described myself as well. So I wanted to welcome to the show, Barcus Patty of Helium 10. Barcus, welcome to Crossover Commerce.
Hey man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on and those kind words. Your check is in the mail.
The check's in the mail. Yeah. I like to have friends on the show, and I don't want anyone to be upset when they walk away. So everyone's always a friend when they come on and want to share their insights, tips, and tricks. And since we are live, again, I told everyone if they want to ask questions, I know it's Friday, people aren't always listening to podcasts or watching live videos, but I just want to have a kind of a very relaxed AMA, if you will, of e-commerce, because you're very in tune with the industry, working where you do, and then I am as well with prior companies, and then obviously what we do with PingPong Payments. So I just kind of wanted to get, maybe if you wanted to add to your background, if just kind of set the table, and then, so that people can understand who you are, where you come from, and then go from there.
So yeah, I've been selling online since 2015. I dabbled a little bit in eBay and Etsy. Those were some tests a few years ago, just to kind of see how the market was. It was I don't know. They were good tests. I love trying to sell everywhere. Just testing things out, like the new Facebook and Instagram shopping, where it's the checkout is still on Facebook, which that's a conversation I'd love to get into later. But I've also been working in the Amazon SaaS space, like a software as a service, since 2015. Helped people launch thousands of products back at the previous company, and then now with Helium 10. So I'm in a cool spot as far as like a role that I get to talk to a lot of customers and really understand what they want, and then talk to them about like, hey, you might need something like this, and really just kind of help them guide their path to success as much as we can, as much as it is with either tools or resources. It constantly learning, and that's a cool thing for me.
I think like you and I are cut from the same cloth, where you kind of just get this holistic view of the ecosystem, and you kind of like sit back and you kind of want to look at a big picture. And I think, being able to do that from a very high level point of view is really an asset. I think it's almost like a Swiss Army knife of e-commerce, if you will, of maybe there's just something that if you're so narrow focused on it's hard to say like how it would talk to other systems, whether you're in a SaaS platform or you're in just kind of a service platform, or, just as a seller in general. Where do you think like the value of being almost a you dabble in a little bit of everything, but like maybe not so master of like one particular topic, like a PPC specialist or something like that. What do you consider yourself that, or I don't want to shortchange you if you think like you're a master in one thing or another.
Is a great way to describe me. So I love learning about a lot of things, and I've had various degrees of success and failures with selling online. So I'm not ashamed of that. It's always a learning. I feel like I've learned from everything. So trying some stuff new for 2021. But yeah, like master of none is you know.
That was a poor choice of words to use when first I use that term all the time. I think like when I say I was a communications major, everyone's like, so you're not proficient in anything. Is that true? And I go, I mean, that's not true, but that's the way to look at it. So, but where you're located in Alabama, you work remote 100% of the time. What's that like as a person who's not like interacting with colleagues, person to person, or at least obviously back when it was acceptable to do? Is that something that's hard to kind of pick up, or are you traveling a lot? What's that like as an evangelist?
So I've been remote for about 6 years, and
awesome.
It's got its pros and cons. I'm an extrovert. Like I love talking to anybody. This could go for 8 hours if you let me. So
let's time it.
Yeah. And I mean, I just enjoy the face-to-face interaction. Like that's one of my flow states, is just a human conversation, like face to face. But it is difficult, like there's times where I'm like, I just have to get out of the house, and that's to go to the grocery store or Walmart or Target, just to get out of the house and get some sunlight. And but like I do love the flexibility of remote work, and then so Helium 10 is really great. Like I don't have to be in front of this computer from 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. I think that they are very flexible and understand that things just need to be flexible. Like right now, my daughter's up here with me because my wife doesn't feel well. So, and a lot of people don't have that flexibility. So if I need to take a couple hours and take her out of the house, take her for like an extended lunch, and I have that flexibility unless there's pending meeting or something like that. But
yeah, for sure. So what's like a day-to-day life for almost like someone like in your position? Are you just kind of like, I guess brand evangelist is obviously like talking about, a little bit of everything. You're kind of the outspoken face of a company, if you will, but also there's a lot of collaboration process. What does someone like in your role do on a day-to-day basis? Is it kind of like watching the market? Is it helping in certain segments? Like what does that look like?
Yeah. So the easiest way I like to do, like day-to-day is different. There's always some kind of type of new project that I'm working on. And I have to have everything in a list or I'll forget something. So it's pretty fast paced. It changes. So like working on a couple of projects right now with our customers and trying to figure out what do they need? Like once you sign up for Helium, what do you need to succeed? Like, like what specifically, like even if we can't provide it, like what is that? So we're kind of beta testing this thing, and I don't want to give it out. It's not a new tool or software or anything, but it's just like not really hand holding it. It's not really coaching or anything. It's just like continuous conversation for the first 90 days. Like what's working with you right now with Helium 10? Like, what do you need from us?
Right.
What can we provide? And then if we can't provide that, do we have the network to do that? So
awesome. That sounds like almost, making sure that everything works for the seller and you're working on the seller's behalf. Do you think that's so in terms of like, okay, we're talking about this as an Ask Me Anything. And again, for everyone who's joining us, again, happy Friday. Francois joining us on Facebook. And then he actually asked a quick question, works in the Amazon field. What is your largest challenge you face when scaling up your Amazon business? Because you're still an Amazon seller, correct? Or is that off the table?
No. I still sell.
Okay, you're still selling.
Yeah.
What industry? Do you mind telling us kind of are you allowed to tell us, or? I manufacture my own line of beard oils. Nice.
Yeah. So I've got like 9 different ones. I'm ironically out of stock of everything. Like I sold out almost everything. Pretty much everything in December before Christmas.
Oh my
And
gosh.
now I'm having trouble lining up getting everything else but I'm restocking inventory, But okay, so to answer Francois's question, largest challenge when faced when scaling up your business, it's me. It is like it's me. I did well. I consider myself I did really well in 2016 and 17. 2018, I made a bunch of mistakes, like financial mistakes that like cost me and my family a lot of money, it affected me personally. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do, so I won't do anything. And I kind of put it on the back burner for a couple of years and essentially died. So 2020, I've been decided to go at it again, kind of the third, fourth quarter of 2020. And then December came out of nowhere. Like I didn't spend more money in PPC. I didn't do any outside advertising, anything like that. So it really just kind of showcased the power of Amazon. Like, and again, I've been doing this 6 years and things still surprise me every day.
Still learning something new. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2021 is like, okay, I'm not a complete idiot. I've decided that. Let's take everything that I've learned and actually apply it. So that's been the biggest struggle for me, is like getting it to like, I know what I'm doing here. I need to learn something here. You can't see part of it, but like I know a lot of things about a couple of different areas. I don't know, like PPC, I'm not that great at because I don't like it. It doesn't, like, half the time none of it makes any type of logical sense, and I get frustrated. So then I'll put it on the back burner. So for me, it's really just me getting out of my own way and like, okay, I'm good here. Let me focus on what I'm good at, and then actually ask other people for help in these areas that I'm not good at. So long story short, it's my brain. That's my biggest hurt.
Are you running your brand by yourself, or do you have like a team of like VAs or any other people supporting you?
I used to have a partner back in the day. Didn't work out. Classic story. And
classic partner. You had to get out of there. Had to be removed.
It sucks because we were friends for like 10 years and it annihilated that friendship. I wish him all the best and success and everything. It just, I think we both regret the way we handled things towards the end, but again, classic story of partnership gone, that doesn't go well. So, but I've hired people to do things in the past, but I've never had like a team. So that's kind of the goal this year, is like, what am I good at? What can I scale that to? Then can I get people to help me, or do I need to hire people to do the other stuff that I'm not good at? So, yeah, I'm actually going to try to be an adult this year. So we'll see.
I think we all diverted back to our childhood stages in 2020. That was kind of we just got at home. We're lazy with ourselves, but I think a lot of us, grew up in different ways. But I have a question for you. Maybe, do you, with your personal experience, maybe this is something that you've seen or other people come to you guys. Do you feel like it's something up there? It is. I told you an Amazon package would be delivered and my dog goes crazy.
Yep.
I called it. Thank you, Paris. See, when you do live shows like this, you can never handle either dog or children. So this is a fun talk. But anyways, when you get into business, do you suggest people that go into it with your friends, or I know some people do it with their loved ones, like their husband or wife tandem? What's kind of like, I know you have your own personal kind of thoughts around that, but do you see a lot of people doing that? Whether it's, hey, we have this great idea, let's go into business together, and then it's successful, or you find it's more successful when you do it yourself and kind of like bring people on. You're not closely tied with a friendship or a marriage or anything like that.
Yeah. I think you just have to read the room, so to speak. Like, I've got one of my best friends. I would go into business with him for about anything. If he wanted to open up a hot dog and coffee stand, I'd be like, hey man, let's do it. Because we vibe well. We get each other, we complement each other well, same thing with my wife. Like, she is an intellectual property attorney.
Oh, cool.
So our circles of people and customers will overlap quite a bit. And if somebody's, in my circles know who my wife is, so they'll be like, hey, how do I get in touch with Bethany? And, you know, and they'll talk to me about a little bit about it. And then I'm like, well, all I know is you need to talk to Bethany. So, but
exactly. I know nothing about intellectual property. So go to the expert.
Yeah. I mean, I know a little bit, but not enough to really consult on it, you know? So, I just know, hey, my wife probably has the answer for it. So, you know, she'll ask me questions about Amazon and selling online in general. They're like, well, why would they do this? And blah, 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 blah. And then I'm asking her questions and stuff. So, that works well just because our professional circles are kind of overlap. And, it's a, you know, we've learned, over the years to, like, for me, sometimes I just need to go into a hole, meaning like nobody come up here. Let me just skip lunch. Let me just get this one big thing knocked out, you know, and the same for her. Like, you know, like right now she doesn't feel well. She's taking a break. I've got Charlotte up here. So, you know, it just takes a little bit. I think you just have to understand, like, if you have a gut feeling like it doesn't feel right, then it probably isn't going to work out right, you know?
Yeah,
so,
that makes sense. And is that something that you see, you know, sorry, I have my notepad right here. I'm just moving it around. And then again, for everyone who's joining us, hi, David, for watching on YouTube. And then a couple other questions. Francois mentioned strong feedback loops are definitely important. I know this is kind of like e-commerce in general, but I'm not afraid to shy away from this. Yeah. For people who know, I'm former viral launch, so I have my skewed opinion. I know you work for Helium 10, but the question always comes up of, you see it on YouTube all the time, the comparisons of like, what's better, what's not. And I'm more than happy to kind of go down this road with people. What differentiates Helium 10 from similar companies like Jungle Scout and Viral Launch? And I can speak on the Viral Launch behalf because I'm sure you can do that. Viral Launch, obviously, I think a lot of people, even like Zonguru or Seller Labs or other people like that, you're all pulling from the same data, and it's how you disseminate the data. And I think that's what people feel most comfortable with is, how does the data get disseminated into a form where you can consume it as a customer or as a subscriber? And believe it or not, a lot of sellers, I think, use all three tools, if not multiple tools, to get the same data to feel verified with the same kind of information. Like it refreshes at a different rate, and it depends on the solution. But
sorry, my daughter's trying to climb behind my desk.
No, that's no problem. That's no problem. And then Francois, that's a great question. But I think it always comes up with like, what are the differences? And I think people are like, who's most accurate? Like all this other stuff. Do you guys have to fight all that all the time, and especially in your field?
I don't have to fight it. I mean, I think it's a valid question, but to me, it's like, what's better, GM, Ford, or Dodge? Like, it's that kind of question. So everybody has great differentiating features and product tools.
Hi, Charlotte. It's okay.
So like we all, like a lot of our tools overlap. We all have keyword trackers. We all have product research tools. We all have PPC tools. So it's really, what I always tell people is like, you need to do your own research and decide what's best for you. If I was, you know, I mean, honestly, I know a lot of people that have, you know, multiple software tools, and I recommend it because you might love this one thing about Helium 10, but then you have there's this one thing that we don't offer with maybe Jungle Scout or Viral Launch. And that's, you know, it like, it's not a, like, who's better. It's like, what fits your business best. Mm-hmm. So, and if you need this one, hold on one second. Hey,
you're fine. And and I can jump in a little bit while Barcus gets more situated. So that's a great question. And that was something that we always had to not challenge, but also have to educate people in terms of the opportunity when you have multiple tools that kind of speak on the same area. You want to do what's kind of the double check everything that's, you know, a cross reference in terms of a keyword. They're all pulling from the same information, but again, it's all about feel. It's all about, you know, a lot of the whatever differentiates each other is how you market, how you, you know, how you want to use it and what it ties into. So those are the unique features that are different, which again, everyone pulls from the same data almost constantly from that. So that was a good question. I think that's something we always run into on the marketing side of things when I was there is, you know, what's different? I love this. Hey, well, I'll talk to her all the time. Maybe she has some insights on e-commerce. Daddy's always shipping more products from our garage.
Yeah. Now she probably would like awesome politically correct answers.
Yeah, I was gonna say thanks, Francois. Come on, man. Like we're I mean it's not untrue, to be honest with you. I guess it's UI. If you want to go more detailed, and I have no problem with that. It's UI, what countries it actually works for. And believe it or not, as a former, because the data is you're almost like partnering with Amazon in terms of these APIs and what you can kind of tap into, but it gets more expensive, more countries you serve, as you know, like different marketplaces mean more data, more access to all this information, how you disseminate it all. So those are really the different, I think, most differentiating factors. Like Helium 10 serves how many different countries? Like you serve multiple marketplaces, right?
We just added like 2 more, so I don't know. Like we just added, I think like
there's always changing. Yeah, there's always changes. I know like
the Netherlands. So
nice.
I mean,
okay.
I don't know. It's 12 or 13, I think, right now. So
yeah. And like Zonguru, I know are like they're working in, I think, Europe next week and Australia. So that's another similar tool. I know there's tools that just like talk to different audiences and can help you like grow in those marketplaces. So that would be another differentiating factor. And then the other additional tools like PPC software, if you can tie it into that, management, feedback, all that fun stuff that I think a lot of tools are just kind of growing in. But those are the political answers. And I mean, it's the truth. I think it's price is also a different thing. So however you feel comfortable with that. And what other features like education you guys give the masterclass with, I forget the exact technical term of it, but with Kevin King, you guys give that with some of your tools. So obviously there's always those differentiating factors. Maybe like what trends are you guys seeing in 2020? Like everyone sees it as maybe like an insight to certain factors, but then also on the flip side, it's like an outlier year. Like you said, like it's a weird year. You're trying to disseminate, and even alluded to 2021 might be even something of another different year. What did you mean by that when you mentioned like almost a weirder year than 2020?
Oh, just because of what's been happening in like the finance industry, like it's unprecedented. Like it's it's exciting and scary, but I mean, like that kind of. So I mean, to me, like that's what I meant by just being weirder. But to tie that into e-commerce, like it just shows like the true power of building a community. So like that's what I love about social media, is like the ability to build a community for whatever, and I think that is going to continue to set successful sellers apart from the people who only sell on Amazon and don't advertise outside. Like nothing wrong with that, but like if you really want to build, in my opinion, if you want to build a long-term brand, you need to go play where your audience is. If you sell like gaming accessories, you need to live on Twitch and Discord and YouTube gaming and Facebook gaming. Like that's where you need to be so you can understand your market. And if you start building a successful audience, meaning like you're not buying these, you're not wanting people just to like and follow, like you're truly engaging with these people and they're, get down. You're gonna fall down.
We don't need to see an injury live on YouTube or LinkedIn or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wants to. Everyone's on their edge right now. It's like, oh my God, please don't fall.
But yeah, my point was like, if you understand, like if you have a truly engaged audience, then they'll follow you wherever. There's a lot of chatter about like, well, this social media company did this and this social media company did that. They're always going to do those things forever. Like they're there to sell ads. That's really it. And, and they're going to change their rules. I still feel like social media, like the internet is just kind of like the wild, wild west still, like there's regulations and changes coming, whether we like them or not. So, but if you have followers, they'll go wherever you want. They'll buy your product wherever you want them to buy. Now that takes a long time to build up, but I mean, like that's what we all want, Nobody wants to be dependent on just Facebook or just Twitter or just Amazon or just Shopify. You want to be everywhere your customers are. So,
did you see that? Did you feel like a lot of people were solely dependent on Amazon, especially in the beginning of 2020 when, Amazon just stops taking people's goods in terms of, if it wasn't essential goods, it was going to be something where, they weren't allowed to even send it to FBA facilities. Is that something that you guys saw a lot of with the sellers that were working with you guys? And then how do you guys kind of learn from that? Is that where you tell people, hey, maybe it's best to start growing your brand off of Amazon or go into different marketplaces?
I think in the beginning, I think in the beginning you should focus on one or the other. I feel like it's extremely hard to build something on Amazon and then also build off Amazon at the same time, because it takes both sides of the brain, and you're either good at analytics or you're good at creative. It's very rare that somebody's good at both and can do both continuously throughout the day, every day. Because off Amazon, you're entirely creative. It's like, what type of creative am I running? How I'm learning how to talk to people. What they like, what they don't like, taking that critical feedback. And then with Amazon, it's a lot of it is analytical. It's like, I need to optimize for SEO. I need to optimize my PPC and analyze, a lot of it is just analyzing reports and stuff. So I think in the beginning, you should focus on one or the other. There are incredible brands that have never sold on Amazon, and they do millions of dollars a month. And they get acquired too. And there's brands that do Amazon really well in the beginning and then broker off into other channels and social media as well. So I think you have to find what fits you best. I love Amazon. I have a business and a job because of it. So I'm incredibly grateful, but just the power that's out there and the opportunities that are out there are just continuing to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And then because us as a company, we're telling people, I think a lot more companies are taking that next step in terms of international growth. And that's the exciting part is when I was looking at the top 50 most visited sites, I think recently in terms of site users, Amazon is obviously still not top, but it's one of the top marketplaces. There's obviously Walmart still. There's lots more marketplaces that are expanding for sellers to grow and to kind of build out their brands. I recently learned that Target was going to open up as a marketplace. Were you guys aware of that, or were you aware of that?
I've heard rumors for a few years, but I didn't know if there was anything concrete.
Yeah, I just randomly happened to be speaking with the company at Packview, and they do a lot of PPC work in terms of working with third-party marketplaces and whatnot. And she's like, yeah, we just got greenlit to work with third-party sellers for Target as a marketplace. And I said, I didn't even realize that Target was a marketplace. But if you think about the model of Walmart, it would make sense that, Target would do something very similar, or even more retail. Do you think a lot more retail stores are going to try to shift in terms of this marketplace mentality?
I mean, they're going to follow the leaders. You see like Walmart is obviously making a huge push into third-party marketplace, and then delivery. So Target's, they have delivery now. It's not in-house. I think it's through Instacart. At least it is down here. So it makes sense for Target to build out their own marketplace. I think that is what could save some bigger companies down the road, like Shoe Station. Maybe they open a third-party marketplace. Like it's a popular, I don't know if it's national, but it's a popular,
I was going to say, what is Shoe Station?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm in Indiana. I don't know what this is.
It's just it's a shoe store, but they're pretty big. They have a big presence, at least regionally. So I could see something like that where they start to sell third-party marketplaces that are related to like footwear and apparel. Where that could, in there, it's really just extending their brand into different markets, which, that to me, I see that happening. So, but yeah, I think it just makes natural sense. Everybody wants to be the next Amazon, and I don't know what that looks like, but it's not happening anytime soon. I do have I'm excited to see what Walmart does in the next 5 years, because to me, Walmart is the biggest. Charlotte. Walmart's, they have the biggest potential in my opinion, just with delivery, because it's not just groceries. I think groceries is going to be a huge thing for e-commerce, but if I can get all my groceries and I can get I don't know, whatever, if I can get some office paper or like whatever, some clothing, some socks, a HDMI cable or whatever, all delivered at the same time, along with groceries, to me, that's huge. And it's delivered within, I don't know, 48 hours.
Yeah. Or it's even same day. Oops.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the same day is the golden, I guess, what everybody wants to achieve, obviously. So, and that the last mile, from UPS to your house or USP to your house, USPS to your house is another huge hurdle for everybody. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, in terms of like, I was talking with Chris Freiberger, he's with InReach, and he said, the biggest thing he's seeing is all these these grocers or food product companies trying to get this into their customers' hands in real time, whether it's in Whole Foods or Amazon Fresh, which I think is no longer a thing anymore. They tried it and it didn't succeed, but obviously with all the different other companies and testing that they're doing, it's going to happen eventually. But I think food companies is going to be a big thing where they're trying to get their groceries delivered quicker, whether it's not just these third parties, but just if you need one-off things, how do you get that to these customers quicker instead of going to a grocery store, having to rely on these marketplaces. So I thought that was quite interesting. And going back to even Target, I had this like meme for some reason come up in my head where it was, I'm going to go on Walmart or Target.com and I'm going to walk away and have spent like $150 or $200 randomly. So I was like, maybe this is perfect for third-party sellers randomly. Like you're just buying all these things and you don't know what happened. That's why I feel like when I go into the retail store, at least I just walk out and there's $100 you just spent randomly because you go in for one thing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Especially with families. I think it's, you just look at Walmart or Target and there's $100 down the drain. You just pull in the parking lot, it's gone. So, I see, like, to me, like I would see something like Target maybe do a bit more curated marketplace where it's like not everybody can sell, unless maybe that brand fits Target. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody can sell anything on Amazon. And I know that logically they want to deliver the best products to the best customers. But we all know that there's problems with allowing everybody to sell. And I know that Amazon wants to have the best people selling, but you don't want to diminish that brand and it turn into something like eBay. Like eBay's trying to make a comeback. Not that I don't know if they'll ever be anywhere close to Amazon, but they're trying to rebrand where it's like, it's not just used stuff on eBay.
Right.
And I think that's something that they really, really struggle with is how do you maintain the how do you preserve that brand image of like, we are the leader in just online ordering and in just a marketplace when you allow everybody.
Yeah. So, do you think that's what Amazon's downfall is? Well, I know there's a wave, 2018 or so, where there was just a lot of
question.
Oh, sorry. Say that again.
I said it's such a good question.
Oh, yeah. Where they just like let everyone in, and then there was this big wave of like who's reliable for like products that are just utter crap. Was that their downfall back in 2018, 2017 when that all was kind of like going down?
I think that Amazon's biggest their biggest area of improvement can be just how they communicate with third-party sellers. And I think literally everyone will agree with me on that statement. But here's why: like we all have this love-hate relationship with Amazon. We love Amazon, but then like, why did you do this? You won't even tell me why you did this thing. And not to criticize Amazon, it's that it's just how you communicate. Like it could be done so much more efficiently. And I know you have to build systems on top of systems. I get all that. But I think that maybe they didn't understand back in 2015, 16, what was really happening when we've been seeing it. We see it every single day, unethical review gains, cheating the system, hacking the system, and all these things. And we see it every single day. And it's like, if you had a better, community with your sellers you could understand that a lot quicker, you know. And so like now what they're trying to do is a lot of it is reactionary. It's like, well, now we're doing all these things to help prevent those types of things, which is a lot of it is like you have to go through a lot of hoops to open up a brand new account, especially if you live overseas. If you're trying to sell in the US marketplace and you're trying to, you know, establish selling on Amazon outside of the country, there's a lot of things you got to go through now, which I'm okay with, but there's a lot of the things that can be done. I mean, you know, we see it all the time. And it's like, you know, every category we're in, even if we're not selling in that category, we can almost pick out the listing that's gained the system. So it's like, how can we do it, but Amazon can't? So, I think that just building that community of sellers that love Amazon as much as they love buying on it, I think that's the biggest impact they could make on their entire ecosystem. Not
So
that I'm not complaining. I just you know, just saying it out loud.
Yeah. You got to say it out loud to almost like say if it is, you know, if it makes sense like out loud, or if you're just kind of swirling, because we're in the weeds all day long, you and I, and we kind of see it in a closer perspective. But you mentioned like community. I think like in 2020 and the end of 2020, and not even now, a lot of people are trying to figure out the social media side of things, like influencers, but also like this new wave of like Clubhouse and then TikTok, like all are both things that I've personally seen sellers just have 10,000 units sold because of a TikTok post and because it goes viral. And that was around Black Friday. His name was Scott Needham, and he has like there's one influencer. It was just a weird product where I think it was like blacklight. It was this gel and you can like harden it. It was almost like a 3D printer, but with a pen or something, like one of those tchotchke like goods, but it kind of blew up in terms of like this market because of someone as an influencer posted in and went just bananas and people found it. How do you think that sellers kind of tap into not just that, but then on Clubhouse where you're just, everyone's now an influencer or can be an influencer, it's community that can grow and kind of share these tips and tricks. How do you think that sellers can kind of tap into these kind of two entities? Because one is obviously visual and a very short snippet of content. The other one is just all voice.
I think that, so this kind of ties into that question. I got this question yesterday. It's like, should I be the face of my company? I don't know. What do you sell? So, the reason I say that is like, it makes sense that that I should be the face of my company because of what I sell. But if I sold, like, let's say I sold leggings because I saw an opportunity and I can sell that product better than a lot of people on Amazon, that's great that I'm good at that. But I shouldn't be in any videos or ads necessarily because women aren't going to listen to me when I'm like, hey, buy these leggings and this is why. So, you know, that being said, I think that the best things that go viral are the ones that you can tell it's a pure thing, or it's just it's such a parody of trying to be funny that it's just hilarious. You know, some people are really, really good at being funny and being creative, and those things work. But I mean, like some of the most viral things are just these pure moments that happen to be caught on video. And I think that if you try to manufacture going viral, it's just not going to work. I think that if you try to focus on, if you focus on why you want to do this, and like your story is pretty powerful. Like humans just love a story. If you focus on why you want to do this thing and the story behind it, and you can do it without trying to be like, okay, I'm going to make this TikTok video, but not focus on trying to look at my conversions. You know, so like that's the biggest hurdle I think a lot of people selling online is like, well, I made 10 videos, but I don't know if I got any sales from it. Like that's not the point of those videos. That's where everybody gets it wrong. Like PPC, yes, you drive sales because people are on Amazon scrolling through Amazon to buy something. Nobody goes to TikTok to buy something. They're like, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody even goes to Facebook to buy something unless it's the marketplace. But then you're still just like kind of casually just scrolling around because it's like the 21st century version of Craigslist, you know? So if you do this with the idea of, I want to tell everybody why I do this thing and why I'm the best at what I do and what my products offer and how I can help people like that. If you start focusing on those things versus like, well, you know, I'm not getting any sales from this. Like, you don't know. Like and I think the great example, like, so Leron Hirschkorn posted this article about this couple that sells peanut butter, handmade peanut butter. It's a commodity. It's it's one of the most boring things for a lot of people. It's just peanut butter. Like, how can you make this cool? And they had this incredible story. It's a company called Nerdy Nuts. So just everybody look it up. But
Nerdy Nuts. All right.
Yeah. So, but what's cool about it is like they weren't trying to go viral, and then all of a sudden they had like 500,000 orders. And this was like September, October. They had a video go viral, and they're still trying to fulfill those orders. No, they didn't have 500,000 orders. They had $500,000 in sales. So big difference. And there's a lot of cool, unique things that they did, but they weren't. You can watch the videos, and they don't have a huge following either. Like, they don't have like 1 million or 3 million followers or anything. But so it just kind of shows the power of community and if people can, like, how you kind of grab their attention, so to speak. But it's an incredible story. So
interesting. I've never heard of this brand before. So we're just going to add, for everyone who watches this, Nerdy Nuts, if you're listening, affiliate commissions are coming to Barcus and Ryan Kramer.
Exactly.
Let's so all that's interesting.
Orders, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say handmade small batch peanut butter treat. So you said in terms of this, how they're standing out, it was just because of a wave of like influencers. What was the distinguishing factor of?
I don't think it was
why they popped.
They just kind of made peanut butter not boring. Like, I love peanut butter, don't get me wrong. But they started mixing different things in the peanut butter to sell. They kind of got, they kind of jumped on some trends, making certain peanut butter around current events for 2020, and those kind of things blew up. So I think that a big thing for them is like limited edition stuff. You know, hey, we're going to make this small batch limited edition peanut butter with like, I don't know, like Reese's chocolate in it or just chocolate, you know? So I do the kind of like these unique things that's limited time. And I think that really drove a lot of stuff, but they were just really good at their content, on their content. And they attributed all of it to TikTok, you know?
Interesting.
So
that's the thing is like, how do you measure that it's coming from TikTok? Is it just because like, that's a hard thing to measure for me, because I don't think there's like an ad platform that they're currently doing. It's almost just the content that is shown on video, and then all of a sudden people are like, is it just organic searches? How are people attributing success to TikTok? Is it just
they have
by happenstance?
Like
they do have okay.
Yeah, they have a self-service ad platform, and then so you can see certain things, but it's not like you can drive people, you know, like if it's on Shopify, you can attribute your sales from pretty much anywhere. Like, you can see where I'm getting these from this Twitter post or this blog post, or, you know, I'm getting a lot of social reference from Pinterest, for example. So you can attribute it. Like, you can't see direct sales. You can't see like, well, I drove 15,000 people from TikTok and then they all made this purchase. So that's a little bit harder, but you can definitely see there's definitely analytics on the, like, from a creator's like a creator dashboard.
Awesome. You were successful in terms of like ranking, and still are. I would say, like, what do you think is changing?
Sorry.
That's all good. No, it's okay. I think she wants to answer. In terms of like ranking strategies, I know there's like a lot of people who are like hit and miss in terms of like what they think is successful and what's kind of like black hat, you know, gray hat, or like what's like acceptable. For 2021, when things are changing, it's almost hard with like inventory levels. And then like, there's all these different things of, do you just do PPC? Do you do it like through influencers? Do you do coupons, you know, search, find, buy? What are the different tactics do you think that people are going to rely heavily on in 2021?
So
that are obviously compliant with Amazon. We're not going to do
Yeah. So, I mean, like, you obviously want to start off like with a great endpoint, like a great listing. It needs to have, and I'm talking about the basics. So I know this might be boring for some people, but like, you've got to have high quality images, write your listing for. Hey, hold on.
No problem.
Come here. I'm not over here. Come here.
And again, everyone, for joining on live. We're talking with Barcus Patty. If you're listening, thank you so much for hopping on. When we're working at home in the era of 2020 and 2021, we have things that are happening that, if you go live, there's nothing wrong with taking care of your kids if they need you, because obviously everyone's working from home now, especially with school, not all being in session everywhere. But when you have to jump in and take care of the kids, that's always something we have to do. First and foremost, we're parents first, and then we're entrepreneurs and workers second. So
yeah,
it happens. It's all the time, no problem whatsoever. In terms of, you were talking about ranking strategies.
Yeah. So let's just I was just gonna say, let's just assume that your listing is already done properly. High quality images. Write it for SEO, for Amazon SEO, but also have some creative in there. As far as like you don't want it to be stuffed with keywords where it's just like this keyword, this keyword, this keyword, this keyword in the title. So let's assume that's all there, because that's the most important. Like you can just drive traffic forever, but if it's a crappy listing, it's not going to convert. So I think people should entertain driving as much traffic from as many places as possible. Then that's harder to do in the beginning. And especially with, if you're on a shoestring budget, if you're cash strapped, you've got to be very smart about it. And I think that's what's happened in the past year or so is a lot of Amazon sellers have gotten really smart really quickly. Because you can't really launch a brand new product with just one source of traffic these days, in my opinion. Now there are outliers and people have done it before with just PPC or just a launch platform. But I think PPC is a great tool. There's obviously a ton of outside services that can help you with running some sort of rebate. I love social media, driving it from there, building some sort of list, building an email list and a text messaging list and a messenger list. Not just focusing on one type of list. I think that's super important. And then just understanding how to talk to all of those people, because everybody reacts a little bit differently. Like you don't want to write 1,500 words when you send somebody a text message in a text messaging campaign.
Right. Almost branding through those kinds of messages too, but then obviously capturing that information. Do you think that data is going to be harder to come by for Amazon sellers in 2021 in terms of like, I say it because, all the things with like antitrust, like what's truly Amazon's possession? What can sellers tap into in that capacity? Is that something that you think might come to more fruition this year?
Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
No, I think that one of the things that Amazon does well with sellers is they're constantly building new tools for sellers. The biggest thing is brand registry, brand analytics, which is insane. The amount of data you get from there, Amazon attribution, and a lot of the creative stuff like Amazon stores and Amazon Lives. I think that they're learning like our customers need tools, and I think that they're doing a really great job as far as bringing unique tools that give you unique data. Like brand analytics data, like you're not allowed to, no software company is allowed to take that data and then and pull it into another piece of software. So,
right.
But anyway, it's I think that the data is just going to get better. I think that Facebook and Twitter and all the social media will get a little bit smarter. Like what data can we deliver to people that are selling on our marketplaces and like what benefits them,
100%.
I just think I think the data will get better and I think the data will get smarter over time. That's going to take a while because technology is just constantly evolving. And then, we're all still learning how to just use social media in general. So like what works best on Facebook won't work well on TikTok and vice versa. But there's different data we want from Facebook versus TikTok as well. So,
yeah. Is there anything else? Like, I know we're almost close to the top of the hour. And obviously with kids at home, we can always hop on another time too. But what is kind of the most exciting thing for you as a seller, but also, person who loves everything e-commerce? Is it something that's like a feature, or is it something where you're seeing trends go in that capacity?
Yeah. So I love trends. I love talking about commerce in general, and looking at those trends and looking at, Amazon, everything. The biggest thing that I'm excited about is like the fact that like I made so many mistakes, but I can just I can still start over. Like the what I made a bunch of mistakes and lost a lot of money, and I'm not the only person that's happened to, but I still have the opportunity at any time to build that back up. Like if I owned a building, if I owned my own retail location, that's not as easy to do. So like that's what I love about e-commerce is like, yeah, you can make a bunch of mistakes, you can lose money, whether it's a restaurant or a retail location or online, but the ability to scale and reach the kind of people that you want to talk to is immense. But then, you mess up, you can still fix things. So that's what I'm excited about.
Awesome. I love that. Well, I know you have to go. I know you're kind of busy on a Friday. Everyone kind of wants to wind down for the week if you're not busy, but I know Fridays are super sacred. Thanks for hopping on today. How can people kind of reach out to you, or if they want to pick your brain, if they hear this a little bit later, what would be the best way to get in touch with you?
I mean, Facebook, honestly, Facebook or Instagram is probably the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Are you on Clubhouse yet? That's a question.
Oh yeah. Clubhouse. We didn't even talk about Clubhouse. Yeah, I'm on Clubhouse.
I want to do a roundtable of people talking about Clubhouse because this is how sad it is. I think every Amazon seller is an Apple user, besides myself, because I am not on Clubhouse yet. And it's this big wave of FOMO right now. I am not on it. I really want to, in terms of like engaging with people. I just think it's something that it sucks because you can't, if you don't have an Apple iPhone or an Apple iPad or an iPad, obviously, I won't say Apple in front of them. Those are branded terms. Yeah. You can't get on. So that's the only unfortunate thing.
They're doing it on purpose though. You know that.
I know. So. Well, I know. And that's the thing is like, I swear to God, every single Amazon influencer, seller, whatever, it has an Apple product. It feels like at least, but soon enough, it'll be on, desktop. I have a Mac. I just can't get it on the Mac. But then Android as well. So hopefully soon that would be fun to talk about, just doing a roundtable of like influencers and get in touch with you, obviously on Clubhouse. Is that, what's your tag on that?
It's just Barcus.
Barcus.
Yeah.
Look at that. See, you get in early and you can get like first names.
Yeah. I would love to eventually just buy all the social media where it's just like Barcus. There's a lot of people that have that as a last name. But it's just so unique. I just want to buy their tags one day.
Well, there's like Barcus, like there's those .clubs now, and those are new URLs that a lot of people are buying up right now, especially if you start to drive commerce to it. So you can get all the Barcus .club or something like that and just have your own club.
Yeah. Hey, I know we got to leave real quick, but one trend that you brought up real quick, I want to touch on.
Yeah, let's do it.
In e-commerce is, so I talked about this at the beginning, like, so Facebook and Instagram, if you can sell on your business pages, so you can set up a shop. That's been there for a while, but now they have it set up where people can directly check out on Facebook and Instagram. The reason I want to talk about it is, to me, that's going to be a big push in e-commerce, because I myself as a consumer, and I know others feel the same way, I might find something interesting on Facebook, but I don't necessarily want to leave Facebook to go buy this thing.
Right. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So almost like a redirect within the ecosystem of you can buy this one topic, or like almost like an Instagram where you, instead of Shopify, highlight the product and then purchase it there.
Yeah. So they have native checkout built into Instagram and Facebook now. And I think that in the next, 12 to 18 months, you're just going to see a flood of social media apps do the same thing. It wouldn't surprise me at all if TikTok all of a sudden is like, now they would have to master this technology, but if you could figure out a way to, if it's a live video, it's like just to click on that product, be like, I want it and buy it right there and like not leave TikTok, that'd be huge.
So all the processing is done there. It's all, shipping and all customer information gets tied into it.
Yeah. And like your Facebook and Instagram can connect to a Shopify site. They can connect it to Amazon, whatever you want. Right. But I think that's where things are heading. And Amazon sees that. That's why they're building out posts and doing the Amazon Lives and stuff. They see the power in social media. They're just still trying to build their own ecosystems of social media instead of, hey, how do we connect with others necessarily? So
awesome. No, I like that. We should definitely like get a group of people on to touch on how you can be successful in that regards and go from there. But hey man, thanks for hopping on. I know it's kind of crazy at home, but no, it's not your fault. I had Amazon deliveries show up and my dog was going crazy. So for everyone who's watching live again, thank you so much for joining us on Friday. We keep it very low key. We'll do this more. We'll try to do more on Fridays about like Ask Me Anything. Next week, I actually go live again. Marcus, thank you so much for hopping on. We'll do it again soon. So you're now officially a friend of the show. So anytime you want to hop on, just let me know and ping me. That's why my phones are always buzzing. They're like, hey, tell him to say this or ask this question. So open invitation to people who hop on the show for sure.
Yeah. All right, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thanks, man. And then again, for everyone who's watching, again, this is Crossover Commerce, or if you're listening to this on podcast, thank you for subscribing and listening on either Apple Music, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and or Spotify. So wherever you consume these podcasts, go ahead and download and subscribe today. Also, I go live on all these social media channels. So go ahead and for future notifications, subscribe to PingPong Payments on either YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. I'm also on social media, so find me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We go live on all these channels so that you can interact with us. And then also, if you're listening to this, make sure that you ask your questions because we want this to be as informative as possible. Again, this is brought to you by PingPong Payments, a global, in terms of banking solutions. Check us out in terms of a free service. Go ahead and check us out to help international growth opportunities, buying and or sending and receiving payments. I'm Ryan Kramer, the host of the show Crossover Commerce. Again, thank you to my guest Barcus Patty of Helium 10. Next week we'll be live 5 times again. I stretched myself to another 5 times. We're going to touch on a lot of different. And I got to end the broadcast. Look, I go back and then we're not even into the broadcast. So Barcus, I apologize if you just randomly appeared again. But again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us live. We'll go ahead and see you next time on Crossover Commerce.